Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. My name is Nick, and I'm joined with the gentleman, as always, Keelan. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Can't complain. It's a wonderful holiday season, Christmas season, Thanksgiving, New Year's. What else is going on right now?
A lot.
Kwanzaa. It's so many names. I got to make a list one day so I can know all of the holidays universally that are happening right now. I'm sure there's even some intergalactic stuff worth celebrating. But yeah,
Maybe
overall, as a person, I'm doing fine. How about yourself, man?
that's that's good, man. I'm doing okay. Just make sure you check that list twice. And we got Mike here. What's going on?
What the hell is Kwanzaa?
Ah,
Nah, bro. We not doing
man
that.
of little culture, I see.
Nope.
One of them made up things.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Already out of the gate hot. We took a break,
right?
and Mike
Pew,
just can't wait.
pew.
Yeah,
That,
guns
that was drop
blazing.
line bait. And look, that was drop line
Man,
bait too. He didn't even take the good integrity to cast that bait. He just
no.
dropped that line.
Yeah, that was
That's right.
dynamite. Yep.
Boom
That
goes
was
the dynamite.
okay. Well, I assume you're doing good then.
I am doing well. Thank you for asking.
That's probably the more grammatically correct way of saying it, but I'm glad to hear it. Thanks everybody
Yeah.
for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Hoping you're having a wonderful evening, Friday night, or whenever you're checking this out. We are very happy to have you here. Please, if you feel so inclined, hit the thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. It would really help us out. We want to build our audience, and we can't do it without your help. Tonight, we're going to be doing a channel surfing episode where we talk about some of the stuff that we've missed since we've been away. There's been a lot, as Keelan and Mike have both been alluding to. So tonight we're going to be talking about a few things that we've been missing in the past few weeks. One being the Superman trailer. We're going to go through that, talk about what we like, what we dislike. Can DC be saved from their slump? We'll be talking about the new Indiana Jones game that came out, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It is out on Game Pass for Xbox, but I'm pretty sure you can pick it up on consoles, and of course, you can pick it up on PC as well. We're going to be talking about how the Hunger Games have officially launched with Mr. Beast and Amazon. And we'll be wrapping it up with a little talk about what's going on with these drones. Really don't know, kind of kooky, and we'll get into that. And we're going to wrap up this conversation tonight with a review that we've been long awaiting and that we haven't gotten to. Something that we watched over a month ago, but we need to review it. And what better time than tagging it on to the end of an episode so we can clip it and put it up as a video. So we're going to be talking about Don't Move on Netflix at the end of this. So stay tuned, get some popcorn, whatever your favorite Friday night snack is, and we're going to go for it. Okay, gents, where do we want to start? Do you guys want to start with Superman, Indiana Jones, Mr. Beast, drones? What's going on?
Hmm. That is actually an interesting lineup right there, and I'm not sure where to start. Me personally, I think starting with Superman might really get the juices flowing. And
Why are
and
there?
I'm saying that.
Hold on, Keelan, just one sec. There's two mics in the background now. I'm wondering if. Okay, hold on.
Am I here?
Now all we got is two mics, two mics, two mics, two
That's
mics.
bizarre. Okay, so are you
All I
there?
need is one mic.
Okay, we
I'm
can hear
here.
you. Yeah, you're there. All right, fair enough. I don't know why there are two of you in the background though.
Because
Haunted.
I've been infiltrated by the CIA.
I
Because you're onto
figured.
something and you didn't know it.
Yep, you and your big mouth, man. I knew that was going to happen.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because
So
of Exofathom. It's not because of me.
it definitely is because of Exofathom.
I
Yeah,
ain't do it.
that show got us put on a list somewhere probably. But that's okay. Anyways, where do you guys want to start? Mr. Beast, Indiana Jones. Have you guys played Indiana Jones yet or no?
I have. I
Oh,
played the
okay.
heck out of it.
Oh, you've played the heck out of it. It's only been out for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I'm already in Egypt.
You're in Egypt already, man. I'm still in the Vatican.
I'm so far past that
You're so
with
cool
almost all the secrets.
with all the secrets.
Yeah, because
Keelan, have you?
it,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I know Mike was gonna go in on that. No, actually I haven't. So what's really interestingly going with my situation when it comes to playing the Indiana Jones game, um, I have tried to download it. I have tried to play it even via cloud, and every time it, I don't want to say it freezes my Xbox, but
Hmm.
it leaves me at like a gray loading screen, and I'm a little disappointed because I was
Oh,
really
you're
excited.
playing on the cloud though. That's why.
No, no, no. Even when I just try to clear space off of my box so that I can download it, it's not doing
Oh,
it for me.
huh. That's bizarre. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
if
extremely.
the game size isn't that big, I think it's something around 50 gigs. So, um, considering I think something like Cyberpunk is at like 300, 400 gigs now.
Yikes.
It's a relatively small game.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you haven't been able to play it. Okay, well then, Mike, what do you think about it so far? I mean, actually, you probably are almost 75% done. So, what do
Well,
you think about it?
it's enjoyable if you are not heavy into gameplay, meaning like you're not really looking for something that's deep as far as
Yeah,
having to
mechanics.
go into the details, the mechanics. Yeah. If you're not into a lot of character building kind of things like RPGs, if you're more in the simplistic style of video games where it's kind of straightforward, where you don't really have to figure out a whole lot, you'll love it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I enjoy it because it's a good way to kill time. And I don't mean that like in a bad way, because it does give you that nostalgic feeling if you're as old as I am, where you get to pretend like you are Indiana Jones, and it definitely gives you that kind of feel. It feels like classic Indiana, not the newer ones where he's a
No,
senile
definitely
old.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the Crystal Skull or the what's the newest one with the Indiana girl where you're
Dial
supposed to
of
feel like he's
Destiny.
yeah, it's not that crap. It feels kind of like Temple of Doom. Uh,
Yeah.
because you kind of do the Temple of Doom in the very beginning, so it kind of
You
gives you
do
that kind of
Raiders.
tempo.
You do
There's a
Raiders
Raider.
of the
Yeah,
Lost
yeah, yeah,
Ark.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right, right.
So,
Sorry.
so I think it's right after Raiders of the Lost Ark, but before the Last Crusade, and Temple of Doom is before all of those. So,
Right.
yeah, it's set in 1937. I'm assuming it's yeah, it must be before the Last Crusade, obviously, but it's right after Raiders of the Lost Ark. Um, and yeah, I think I would share the sentiment with you, Mike. I think that there's some good merit here. There's like I felt pretty immersed in the game. Um, I felt like what you were saying, feeling like Indiana Jones. That's pretty good. Um, Especially when you punch people, it makes the punching sound from the classic movies, which is hilarious. Um,
It stands out so much to me when that
it
happens.
definitely does. Um, and I will agree with you that some of the mechanics are kind of simplistic. So to me, it feels like you're playing Myst with like themes of Tomb Raider and some type of stealth game, but very light on the stealth.
It's
Um,
very light on the stealth because
yeah,
you
yeah,
can run up and beat up people who spotted you without there being really any consequences, and you can get away with getting alerted. I mean, very
right,
easy. There's
right.
no there's no big deal because if a bunch of people in an area spot you, you just beat them all up, or you can I guess you can shoot them. I haven't even shot anybody yet, and
No,
I'm
neither have
mostly through
I.
the game.
Yeah,
It's just not necessary to shoot people, and you can get a variety of guns. When you get to Egypt, you even get dynamite.
nice. Not very
You can
stealth.
light
Not very
dynamite.
stealth.
So
No,
what are you telling me that the archaeologist has weapons that can destroy good art or good
Oh well, of
historic
well,
course.
preservations?
You got to do
not
that.
exactly, because what
They belong in a
happens is you
museum.
can just find dynamite, right? But you can find dynamite around the area. You don't get to like hold it in your inventory.
Uh, I'm glad Nick saw
Yeah.
where I was going with that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I mean, I think I agree definitely. There is the gameplay mechanics are very light, and again, it makes me feel a little bit more like Myst, where you're walking around and reading things and taking pictures of stuff and things like that. But you're not really getting a whole lot of thrilling gameplay. And even some of the temple stuff is sort of rudimentary, in my opinion. I don't think that you're getting things like, you're not getting really much more intricacy than maybe a basic Tomb Raider dungeon or temple. So I think that it is more of a mood. It's more of a relaxing sort of hang out and play casually type of game, but you're not really gonna find yourself too challenged by the gameplay. Now, if you play on super hard, it might be because I think that the AI is sort of, how do I put it lightly, art-hearted. And so I can imagine that if you put it on super hard, it would be really frustrating. The AI would be super frustrating. So it could be challenging in that respect, but I don't know how much fun it would be.
Right. The only thing I really find difficult, because I'm not playing it on super hard, I'm playing it on regular.
Yeah,
I always
me
start
too.
games off on regular. I never really play it on easy unless there's something like specific type of unlockable stuff to do. The hardest thing I find to deal with is locating some of the stuff. They tell you where every at a certain point.
We might have to back you up on that. Might have to back you up on that. We just lost you.
You roboted out for a second.
Yeah. Okay. After it to a certain point, you can purchase these.
Slow down. I don't know what's going on, but it's not working for you. Which is crazy because I'm actually sitting here taking all of this in as someone who's here on the show with you guys to give information about it. And like, because I don't know as much, I'm doing like what I would think fans or people who are looking forward to knowing about the game. I'm really just sitting here soaking it all in. Like, yeah, that's what I want to see. And I'm able to decipher that it's not a lot of it's not like a temple run version of the game. It's not like an old school Tomb Raider. It's kind of has some of those Tomb Raider effects as you guys were discussing, like what it does have. But it's getting me a little more excited to figure out how to put it on my Xbox so that I can become a part of the experience. And I know you weren't done, Mike, but I just wanted to fill some time while you try to adjust your
fix
How's that?
Microphone. That's better.
Sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot what I was saying though.
That's okay. I think it's worth the download, especially since it's on Game Pass, and you don't have to pay any money for it. It's a fun, immersive sort of experience, and it's like a bridge. It's like a number 2.5 in the trilogy, as far as like you're getting almost an extra movie out of the game, which is kind of cool.
And it's not a bad story.
No, not.
It's not a bad story. It kind of goes right along with the movies as far as his behaviors and the kind of story they would try to tell.
Yeah,
I find it interesting that they go into this Nephilim kind of thing without giving away too much.
Yeah,
I found that to be interesting. But
that fits in with the motif of Indiana Jones constantly sort of stumbling across biblical or artifacts and all of that stuff. So I think that works perfectly for the game.
Doesn't he find the Holy Grail in one of the movies?
Yeah, and the Last Crusade, which is with Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Yeah. No, I think it's a pretty great game. I'm impressed with the AI of the voice because I think it sounds very much like young Harrison Ford, which I think is nice.
It does.
Like and the rendering of Indiana Jones looks good. The graphics are decent. I have nothing to write home about, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not overly amazed by any of it. I think the best that it looked was in the sort of intro scene where you replay Raiders of the Lost Ark's intro. But anything past that, I haven't been totally floored. What about you, Mike? Have you seen any like super pretty points in the game?
Not especially, not to me anyway.
Yeah.
One thing that I did really like is that they have Tony Todd in it. I like that. Rest in peace to him. Because he passed away. Yeah, you know Candyman.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. He plays
the giant.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty dope to see him make an appearance. He doesn't talk at all, I don't think. No, he does. He does speak a little bit, but very little. But I haven't beaten the game, so he's only in the Vatican in the very
Right.
beginning of the game.
Right.
But I thought him being a part of it was kind of dope. So that just means that he probably was thought of for the project before he passed away, and they put him in there. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. It was cool kind of seeing him. I was like, hey, that's Candyman. What the hell?
Right.
That was pretty cool. Well, anything else that you guys wanted to add to this, aside from go check it out if you get it for free?
Oh, what I was gonna say before was that the only thing I found like frustrating is like after a certain point, even in both maps in the Vatican and in Egypt part of the game, you can find all the secrets. You can purchase these maps that give you points of interest in the city that you're in, and it basically tells you where each one of the secret items are.
Yeah.
It's frustrating just trying to locate those because some of them are easy to find but difficult if you just don't know how to look for it.
Yeah.
And it can get frustrating. You'll know what I mean when you start playing it.
No, I do because I've been trying to do some of the side quests in the Vatican, and the UI is immersive, but it's also kind of a pain to have to constantly bring your journal out so you can see where the hell your checkpoint is. But I get why they did that, because you want it to be as immersive as possible, so you don't want a whole bunch of stuff on the screen. I think that's fine. Although there is like is there a menu bar at the bottom? There is, with a life bar and everything. So I guess you could have just made that a map. That would have been,
or
fine.
At least a compass.
Or a compass. That would have been fine too. Yeah. Constantly having to walk around with your journal open is a pain in the ass, because if an enemy comes up to you, they can just beat your ass while your journal's open.
Or you get spotted and don't realize it.
Yeah. Huh?
You don't have your journal in one hand and you're whipping the other?
You can't use anything while you have your journal open, though.
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely gotten spotted trying to look at my journal too many times. Which I guess, adds a level of realism to the game that I can sort of appreciate.
Have you gotten your disguise and dealing with the officers yet?
Yes, yeah, they're kind of a pain in the ass, but I don't necessarily mind that, because I think of games like the first Splinter Cell, where I probably did that CIA level like 30 times just so that it could get a clean run.
Right.
Because that level was so hard, and it was like no lethalities, no getting detected the whole time. And so completing it with a clean run was great. But yeah, I get a little bit of that here too, where I'm trying to be as clean as possible. So no gun use. I try not to cause alarm, although sometimes it's inevitable, because one of the critiques I do have is that there are no places to hide bodies, but you have to hide bodies.
Not even in the bushes or nothing? It's not one of those
honestly, I don't find that to be as necessary as you think it is.
I want it to be necessary because it's a mechanism in the game. I understand that they don't really care, because I've stacked up a whole bunch of bodies behind like a crate and nobody ever saw them. But
I stacked up 15 bodies in one spot.
Yeah,
and it was literally a pile of bodies.
And that's what you end up doing, and that's fine. But like Hitman had this fixed, figured out, decades ago. So just have some bins where you can throw a body, or throw them off of a cliff or whatever.
Well, Metal Gear had that too. You could stuff them in lockers when you knock them out.
Right, exactly. Anything would have been nice, but you just kind of sort of drag them behind a bunk bed and hope nobody sees them.
Not behind a bunk bed.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, if they do get spotted, the first one who spots them, he alerts everyone, and they come in one by one.
Yes.
Or they come in groups of like 12. It's a hit or a miss.
Right. That's true.
And if you're skilled enough, you can easily just dispatch them all either with a gun, which I haven't done. I just use fisticuffs because I like hearing the punching noise.
Yeah, me too.
It's oddly satisfying.
If they had an emote that said "put him up, put him up, put him up," you play that
It
on
it
the
would have
phone.
nice. I mean, it would probably been totally immersion breaking, but I would have loved to have a maybe like a skill tree that lets you do things like in combat. Like use your whip to, I don't know, grab somebody by the neck and pull
You
them.
can.
You can? Okay, that's
Yeah.
good because I haven't gotten that far yet. I use the whip and it'll disarm people, which is fine, but I want to be able to like grab somebody with it.
You have to unlock that from a book you find.
Right.
You
Okay.
you can grab people by the neck and you can yank them towards you.
Mm,
And if they're unaware of you, you can knock them out.
nice. All right, I
Yeah.
like that.
So you haven't gotten to that part yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. All right. Well, anything else on this one? What would you rate it, Mike? Give us your rating.
We talking like out of 10?
Yeah, out of 10. You've played almost all of it, so
Uh, yeah, like a 6.
yeah, 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit more generous just because of this nostalgia factor, but I give it about a 7. I think it's a decent game. I just think that the
Yeah.
mechanics are a little bit shallow, and you're not really playing a video game as much as you're playing a movie, if that makes
Right.
sense. Yeah.
I-
So, all right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're gonna move on then. Yeah,
But
enough said.
I'm,
Everybody
I'm
said
I'm
it.
sitting over here like, man, I would love to add something, but I'm just gonna wait till we get to something I actually can talk about because I don't even have like no like, oh well, what about this and what about that? Like, nah, it seems like a pretty straightforward game, but it also sounds fun.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
fun. I think you enjoy it. Just go check it out. And yeah, okay. Well, let's move on, guys. What do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Mr. Beast or
I don't know
Let's
much
talk
about
about
that.
like
Well,
let's
there
talk
you
about
go.
Mr.
Now
Beast before
Keelan
we get into
does.
Superman.
Here we go. Okay, sounds good. Hold on, let me bring it up.
And I've never watched an episode, but I am aware of it, and I've seen a couple of trailers, and I
You guys are
saw.
slipping, man. I've seen all of this stuff.
I've
I'm
only
gonna tell you
seen
what's
2
crazy.
trailers.
I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I remember the rollout for the Mr. Beast show, and it was very small, but that's because I watched things on Amazon Prime, so I was aware that it was coming. And
Mhm.
then I don't know what happened, but I probably have not watched anything on Amazon Prime for the greater part of like a month and a half.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat right now with Amazon. To be honest, there just hasn't been a lot to watch. But this came out just a couple days ago. I think maybe just even yesterday. It's possible it was just yesterday.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, the 19th. And the first 2 episodes have dropped. I watched them, and I felt myself entertained but disturbed. That's what I'll say.
Extremely. The things people
So
will do for money.
Yeah, so to give people a little bit of background, if you don't know what we're talking about, Mr. Beast is a YouTuber who has been on YouTube for I think at least a decade, more than that probably.
Easily. I think since he was like 12, and he's
Yeah,
about
he was a
25,
little
26 now.
kid. Yeah, he was very young when he started, and he's worked his way up. He's got like 300 and something million followers on YouTube. He's one of the biggest channels ever, if not the biggest channel ever. I'm not 100% sure. But he did this deal with Amazon where he's doing a game show, all the Squid Games or the Hunger Games, where 1,000 contestants compete for $5 million. And it's the biggest cash prize in game show history. So he's breaking a whole bunch of records. He built a $15 million city to house like the 500 contestants that end up going there. It's super elaborate, lots of drone footage, a lot of everything is in Mr. Beast fashion, so it's all very quick
Fantastic.
cuts and yeah, quick cuts. They want to keep your attention. Like Mr. Beast is a psychopath because he knows exactly how to monetize your attention.
Yeah.
And he's been perfecting that for the past decade, and he's
Yeah.
extremely good at making sure a video does not lose one eyeball of attention. And so
Yeah.
that's what this game show is it's something, it's kind of like a train wreck you can't look away from.
Like every Mr. Beast video that exists
Pretty
on
much.
the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's one thing Jimmy knows how to do, and he unlike most people didn't have to go to university to learn these tactics or anything. He just naturally, this is what he was born to do. There are some things that we all have to acknowledge. you were born to do something. This
Yeah.
dude was born to be the YouTube sensation known as Mr. Beast.
So
Yeah.
does that mean that I'm the only person in America who doesn't watch any of his content?
You
No,
probably.
there are
I don't
plenty
think
of people.
anybody. Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think anybody watches his content
Oh, okay.
intentionally. To be clear,
I've never seen any videos. I just know the controversy.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll skip
controversy
over that.
aside, that's been more recent. But he's been making videos for a very long time.
Yeah.
The thing that jumps out to me is that he gets a lot of criticism because his whole shtick is that he gives away a lot of money in every episode, and he
Philanthropy.
uses. Yes, let's use that word loosely. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
He uses his money that he gains from the videos to basically put into the next video, and he has just this sort of rolling thing that's been a pretty good business strategy for him going forward. He also has many brands that food that he's trying to do now, and so he's diversifying his businesses. But yeah, I mean, I found myself kind of disturbed watching it, if I'm being honest, because it felt like, I mean, it really did. It's such a dumb boomer meme, but it really did feel like the Hunger Games. Felt like all of these people just doing whatever this rich guy says for $5 million. Like,
Yeah,
so
that's really what it is.
that's exactly what it is. And damn if it's not entertaining, but it's also something in my brain's like, ooh, this is not going to be good, because I feel like if this show takes off and like becomes syndicated and they become multiple seasons, I predict in 10 years he won't be just dropping them into a chute to eliminate them. He'll be dropping them into a furnace.
Man,
I really feel like that this is what the show gives me, and he does it on purpose. So like at the beginning or at the end of the first challenge, he has 1,000 people standing on their own little platforms, and the first challenge is that everybody's standing in columns. So it's like a column of 100, and there are 10 columns of 100, and he says that each column is a team, and they have 10 minutes to figure out, one person in each column has to eliminate themselves so that the rest of the people can move on. And there are only 9, or there were only like 10 or 8 columns that could move on to the next round. So if you didn't find somebody to eliminate themselves, your whole row gets wiped out.
dang. And how do they have this? They have to have this discussion while staying on their,
while yelling at each
fixed
other,
area.
like basically, yeah, they have to stay on their little platform.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it feels like a weird social experiment. It's like
How did they convince anyone to do that?
$5 million are at the end of the
$5
rainbow. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Have you
That's
never
a lot
heard
of
of
money.
Fear Factor, Amazing Race, Survivor? None of these
Oh,
have
yeah.
ever given somebody $5 million, and plenty of people line up to do it.
No. What I mean is, how did they convince somebody to give up the $5 million opportunity and
So
leave?
that's a good question. What's really interesting is that most of the rows, one person just did it without any convincing, because
I think it's
it's the social pressure.
Yeah, well, it's also, I think, the possibility in today's world that you doing a good deed on the back end, you're gonna get something too.
Yeah, maybe.
I think
Unfortunately,
they
the
have to
people
find
who
the person in
sacrificed
each.
themselves did not get
I guess they
anything out of
didn't.
it.
Well,
I guess
but that's
they
what I'm
didn't
saying.
hear about nice guys finish fast.
Right, and that's exactly what I was about to say, Mike. I think it's the play on, some people truly believe that being a good person or doing a good deed for other people will benefit them in the long run. So
Yeah,
it's kind
I
of
believe that. Yeah.
weed out some of the good people initially, because you're going to need some real cutthroat and nasty people when it gets to $5 million. When it gets down to the last 20 people, the last 40 people, listen, it's going to be some.
You're going to have the most ruthless people at the front for sure. And honestly, it really does feel like it's deliberately designed that way, which most game shows are. I don't necessarily like.
How much of that do you pay in taxes?
That's the trick.
Half at least.
No. Like, think, not being funny. And I'll say this, and then we can continue with Mr. Beast thing. I learned years ago with I I don't remember if it's Super Bowl or the Thanksgiving Day game, but one of the NFL games they gift a vehicle, a truck usually. I think it's Toyota sponsors it. So it's like a Toyota Tacoma, and they gift it to the winning quarterback. And most of the time, or a few times, I guess I should say, a winning quarterback has donated that to like a family or something like that. Well, when they give
Uh-uh.
it directly to a person, that person has to pay the taxes on it. And
Yeah.
including the Super Bowl, I mean, yeah, the champion, whoever wins, the person who wins it as a player, if they take it, they have to pay the taxes on it. The
Yep. Of
difference is
course.
the average American family cannot afford the taxes on a current year Tacoma,
$40,000 car. Yeah. No,
you
they
know.
can't. It's
So
like,
what
it's
happens is they lose it in arbitration.
yeah,
They have to
or
settle
they
for like 10 grand.
now they usually have to come up with the insurance. They usually have to come up with the taxes up front. They did this
Yeah.
I mean, all game shows do this basically. Any prize you win on a game show, you have to pay the taxes on. So,
Mhm.
that's why Pimp My Ride, all of those cars went to junkyards
Yep.
because
Oh yeah,
people
they
couldn't.
really messed a lot of people over on that one.
Yeah, because you had like a $1,000 jalopy that they just crammed in with like
$30,000.
$12,000, $30,000 worth of stuff, and you have to pay the taxes on that, and then your insurance goes up.
Yeah, insurance through the roof.
So
And DMV somehow is going to charge you an extra fee for something because now your car is more likely to be stolen.
right, exactly. Yeah. So you're definitely paying half if you get $5 million as a prize. That's a capital gain, so you're paying 50% at least, I would think. So you'll get maybe 2 million out of it. You'll probably have to pay like a lawyer and an accountant to make sure that you got everything buttoned up. And at the end of that, you'll probably get 2 million. So,
Yeah.
that's double the survivors winning. So that's
I
not
want
bad.
to say that's almost not worth the headache of it. I mean, you're coming away with 2 million, but
It's
that's
not gonna
not going.
it's not gonna
It's not going
last
to
you
last.
forever. No, no. $2
Right.
million $2 million can go very quickly, and unless you make some smart decisions with it.
If you
So
live in
$1 million
California, you
is
lose
like
about
10 grand now.
if you live in
yeah.
California, you losing like 53% of it before you even look in your bank account.
Oh yeah, the
Right.
state will take. Yeah, that's right. So you're getting less than 2 million because you're getting 50 from the government or the federal government, and then California is probably
Fed
going to
and
charge.
state tax.
You
State's
getting
probably going to
probably
charge you like 30%. So
right. I'm gonna say you realistically probably getting about 700.
maybe like 1.5.
Yeah, out of 2 million. Yeah. So nah,
Yeah.
nah. I think out of 2 million, they're taking over one for sure. I think they're
Yeah, it depends on
minimum
the
taking.
bracket for their capital gains as well. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah.
they're probably taking 1.2, or you leave at 1.2, one or the other. I think that's about a round ball number right there.
Yeah, so
So you're either giving
basically
up
whoever
800K or you're going home with 800K.
whoever wins this is going to have to hire an attorney and accountant immediately.
They better have them on retainer already, just waiting on
Yeah, pretty
standby.
much. Right, exactly. Yeah. And vet them and make sure they don't steal your money, and then
And they
let the
will,
government
because
steal your
why
money.
shouldn't they? You don't know anything about this kind of business and law.
Yeah. So to wrap up the first challenge, they finally get enough people or enough rows to sacrifice, so that there are 3 rows that didn't choose somebody, so they get eliminated, which is like 300 people off the rip. 300 people off the rip get eliminated. And since they're all standing on their own individualized platforms, what they don't realize is that there's a false floor in the platforms, and so they all drop into a black abyss. Um,
I
and
saw that
honestly,
trailer or I
yeah,
saw that video, and my hope for that, and forgive me for just being who I am. I was like, what if it's a big old like uh a giant slide in the dark?
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just like a drop into a foam pit. I think that's what he said it was. But my
Uh-huh.
claim, my claim is that in the future it won't be a drop into the foam pit. It'll be drop into a furnace, and you'll see fire spitting up after somebody drops in there.
I think that effect can be added by next season.
I
The
mean,
effect,
Sure.
who's
but
to say they're doing
the
that
actual
now?
happenings of it. Well, no, look, what I'm saying to corroborate with what Nick is saying over time, I think by next season they'll have a version of that where it's fake
Yeah.
fire, or like
Yes,
it's
right.
like visual effect. But I think in the
Mhm.
next 10 years, like Nick is saying, people will be signing waivers to literally give their life to win $5 million.
Right. Exactly. Real Squid Game shit.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is where he got basically all of the inspiration from. So
And I do want to
he
ask this question before we
he's
quit,
unironically recreating Squid Games.
which we all said was going to happen anyway. And what
Yeah,
it's been, how long has it been since the Squid Games? It hasn't been 10 years,
four
right? About
years.
5,
4 years.
4. Okay. So
Yeah.
we all said this was going to come, but do we see any backlash from either Netflix or the Squid Games? Well, no, Squid Games creator already lost all of his rights to it. So any backlash from Netflix?
Nah, because there's no explicit Squid Games things happening. So
Not even the
um,
jumpsuits.
the jumpsuits are pretty close, but I think they're legally distinct enough for him to get away with it. I don't think he would make a stupid mistake like that.
That's a fair
He
point. I don't know if Mr. Beast's
Yeah,
real name is Jimmy, but Jimmy seems to
it
always
is.
have his corners cut
I mean, he's got.
or his
I'm
corners
sure
covered. Excuse me.
he has an army of lawyers that
Oh,
make
that's
sure
for
everything
sure.
is fine. Yeah,
I'm not gonna sign that part
No,
because,
no. When it comes to the entertainment litigation stuff, I believe he does.
well,
yeah.
no, I was thinking more like
I know what you think
along the
about.
lines. Okay, yeah,
No, we know what you're talking about, but all those things have been unsubstantiated, and there really hasn't been any smoking gun about it. So I don't know. I don't think that
I
it's I think that you'd be dumb to open up your mouth about something you don't know about. So
I think if
you
Aiden
want to say
Ross
nothing?
has a
See,
litany
I
of
shut up,
lawyers,
right?
Yep.
right? I think if Aiden Ross continuously tells people and probably really has a litany of lawyers behind him, then Mr. Beast for sure has a bunch of lawyers
Oh
behind
yeah,
him.
yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's for sure. Now, okay, so my final question, this is going to be for Mike because I know that he's probably thinking it in his head, and so we're going to launch into a hypothetical world here where we're not talking about Mr. Beast, but
Oh, bless you.
somebody who calls themselves Mr. Beast in a different dimension. And gains the love and adoration of millions of people around the world and cures
Or
the
Mr.
blind
Animal.
or Mr. Animal, yeah.
Yeah.
Cures the blind and he feeds the hungry and
Mhm.
he's loved everywhere and he creates a big spectacle for everybody to see and talks about how he's interested in running for president in the future.
Hmm.
I
What do
mean,
you
do
think
you
of
think
that?
it would be so on the nose as to name yourself the thing that they said in the Bible to look out for?
Bruh, thank you, Nick, because I always think that with his name and the way he moves,
Everybody
especially
does.
when he was so young, I was just like, I don't know if this is supposed to leave a nasty taste in my mouth intentionally or because you want to root for
Yes.
the kid, but
Yeah.
No.
nah. You already knew where I was going with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, Mike, answer the question. What would you think of that in a different universe?
Yes, in an
Hypothetically, of
alternate
course.
universe, hypothetically.
I've been day one. I mean, hypothetically, I've always this dude.
Oh shit, he's
Ah,
saying the right
damn.
things. It's
You
happening.
got him. His mic always
So
cuts out when he's about
it
to
is
say
what it
something
is
good.
in a
Yeah.
hypothetical sense.
We heard nothing except it
Hey.
is what it is in a hypothetical sense.
So that works, actually. That's a good response.
That's true.
Yeah.
Our legal team cut his microphone.
See,
Oh, so you got to hear what I said. All right.
Yeah.
no, we legit did not. That's what we were saying. Literally, you started cutting out as soon as you started, and we're just like, oh, he's saying the correct things, which are currently the wrong things.
Yeah, exactly.
God dang.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Well, you know the big
As-
that mean Pops upstairs was looking out for me.
That's
yeah,
right. Yeah.
as we said before we started the show, all the haberdasheries and hemoglobins.
Hemoglobin.
Shout out
Yeah.
Tony Baker because you know
He
he
just dropped
he
out
put that
again.
into our vernacular.
What is going on with Mike's device today? He is just not sticking with us. That's okay. Anything else you want to add about the Beast games? I think you should check it out, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I think after checking it out, I think by next week,
Man.
when we do go over something similar or a show like this, we'll probably be up to about 3 or 4 episodes, at least 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll check it out. Reluctantly, but I will check it out.
Reluctantly. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Let's move on, gents. We got a couple more things to talk about here. We should I don't know. Do you guys want to just talk about the drones real quick because you guys don't really care all that much and neither do I.
Wait, repeat that?
Do you guys want to just talk about the drones real quick because I think it's like a small segment that we can do before we get
Oh
into the
yeah.
Superman trailer?
Before we
Yeah.
get into the so going from TV to movie, we can use this as a segue. I'm down for
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
will say that I do care quite a bit. The problem is there's so much information and so much lack of I don't even want to say proof, but information to go with what is out there that it's
Mm.
kind of this whole drone thing because it's happening in more than just Jersey at this point. But it's really starting to signal to me one of two things. Either we are fried as a society mentally to where just any and everything becomes not just news, but it becomes paranoia and rage bait to a level,
Yeah.
and or it has begun. One of the two.
And or it's real. This is not a drill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. I agree with you, man. I feel like there's a lot of mass hysteria going on, a lot of heightened tensions, and um, I'm wondering where it comes from because I really saw this bubble up at the beginning of December and when on X, like it was almost every post that I was seeing. Um, and usually when I have, every post that I'm seeing being the same thing, I sort of think to myself, well, are they trying to draw some sort of narrative here? Now, there's
Right.
been weird videos and sightings of lights in the sky, and some of it is just planes.
Yeah.
Sorry, some of it's just planes. Now, some of it might be drones, but they don't look like extraterrestrial drones or anything like that. They just
I
look like
saw one that was creepy.
I'm
I've
gonna
seen
be
a,
honest.
I've seen
I
a
thought it
couple
was
that
all AI generated stuff.
You're right. Well, and thank you because you're right. There's no way of really knowing if this isn't just a completely internet fabricated situation that now the mainstream media is reporting on. Because any person that they talk to is like, oh, we don't know what is going on,
Man,
and but everybody on the internet it seems as though they have all of the answers, and they're like, oh, they're sniffing for nuclear material, or they're aliens, or they're our technology, or they're China's technology. Everybody's
or
got
it's
an
old
opinion.
technology that they're finally utilizing because they finally found out how to work it, or
Right.
there's missing
Right.
radioactive material right before all of this began.
Right, exactly. So there's a few narratives going on about what's happening here, but like it's weird that we had this, and then we had like the Chinese spy balloon that flew over the entire country without being shot down.
Yeah, and the president-elect said our military knows where all of these things began and where they originated from. They know all the time.
Yeah,
They always do. And I'm like,
That
right.
just means that they know more than they're telling us because national
They always
security or whatever lie
Of
they got
course.
cooked up.
I mean,
Yeah.
they'll always know more than what they're telling us. I think that's to the analogy that we've used in the past, Nick. That's just the price of the parent talking to the child, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a little, in my opinion, I'm 36. This is a little beyond the scope of what I've seen our government uh, allow us to see and then refuse to discuss at the same time.
Yeah. I would think that you'd have like a pretty convenient cover story for whatever the heck it is, and just like be like, oh no, it's swamp gas. Or whatever bullshit that they usually say. Like
Isn't
they're
that what
so
they used to say for the Aurora Borealis?
yes, exactly. But that's what like gives me the weirdness about all this situation is that normally they would just come out and be like, oh no, this is just some, swamp gas, or it's Venus, or it's just regular planes or whatever. But the fact that they're coming out and being like, yo, we don't know what they are. They could be anything. That's where I'm like, all right, you guys are up to something. I don't believe you.
They're playing into people's normal everyday paranoia, and
Yeah.
they know there's enough people out here who believe in all the conspiracy bull stuff,
Yeah.
to where they're going to be able to pique their interest with something, and then it's enough people out here who don't believe in that stuff that now they're gonna be like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
dude, what do
playing
you
both
guys?
sides against each other, kind of thing.
Okay, time for our tinfoil takes here. Here's my
Put on my
tinfoil
gribble
take.
hat.
Yeah, put your gribble hat on, and record this for posterity's sake. What if we see in the next year or so drone lockdowns?
So we're gonna enter an episode of Dark Angel, is what you're saying?
What does that mean exactly? Oh,
I don't
Jesus
know.
Christ.
Well,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, if you were wanting to sort of like control society or control a population of people, and you wanted to start putting the precursors of their anxiety out there and sort of testing the waters, wouldn't it be interesting to have a flight of drones fly over Los Angeles and have to shut down the entire city of Los Angeles because you don't know what is in the sky?
Yeah. I think in order to do something of that nature, or even act as if you want to do something of that nature, one of the things that would have to happen during that period of time is somewhere else in the world, martial law would have to be enacted, if only for 15 minutes.
You mean again?
Again, yeah.
I said what I said.
Just for 2 weeks, Keelan. Don't worry about it. 2 weeks to stop the drones. That's what
what's
we're
considered
gonna
one of the most docile and friendly countries in the world.
Yeah, fair
What,
enough.
Sweden?
No.
Oh, not anymore.
Oh.
I'll allow you to watch the news and or explain that to you off air, because
Right.
I'm not talking about that shit on air. I said what I said, and now they got to go do their homework.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, final verdict on the drones, Dents. Do you think they're just ours and we're running some sort of psyop, or do you think they're actually a foreign countries? I don't really think so. If I'm going to say anything, I'm going to think that most of it is just hysteria, and then there could be some people flying like, I don't know, hobby drones around, just to add to it.
I personally
I think
it's
everything's the government. Go ahead.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. But currently with this situation, I honestly think it's a little mix of both. There is some realism to it. Clearly, these things are happening. There is a lot of hysteria to it, but I think what is more important is keeping in mind that just because it's hysterical and it causes hysteria doesn't necessarily mean that it's fake or untrue. And that's where everything kind of hits a gray area. And
Yeah.
it's either we want to live out some of our scientific sci-fi science fiction movies that we've seen over the years, and or we want to act like we don't see it, look the other way, and draw pretty flowers and roses on a canvas.
Don't look up.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, or what is it? Leave the world behind. Remember all of the drone swarms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what happens in a lot of again, our science fiction
Yeah.
shows and movies. We can
War
all
of the
just go
World.
live on a space station that's right outside of Neuralink.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna probably that's gonna be a blip on the radar that is 2024. I really want to compile all this crazy stuff that happened this year, honestly, but I think there's just too much to even have like a succinct podcast about. I think it would probably be hours and hours long.
Yeah, I mean, we can do it like Mad Skills used to do the hip hop wrap up, and by the time New Year's hits, we compile a list.
That's true. All right. Well,
was it this year or last year we learned that there was alien life?
2011.
We
what are you
haven't
talking
learned anything yet. What are you talking
No,
about?
officially they've acknowledged that there's alien life.
Oh, I might say no, not
Mars.
yeah. I see. You're talking about officially. They acknowledge it, not officially. We know, because us knowing and them acknowledging it are two totally different things in my mind.
Right.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna say space isn't real, and neither are aliens. Sorry to burst
I heard
everybody's
space is the
bubble.
final frontier, but Star Trek was filmed in somebody's basement. So explain that.
There you go. Oh, chili peppers, huh?
Well, I mean, I saw recently that space isn't real because God created the firmament and we're not allowed to explore it.
Man, listen.
Yeah.
The firmament could be real. Oh, how about, and I'll say this since we're talking about split conspiracies at the moment, and then we'll kind of segue into some film fiction, which could also be conspiracy or real, because sometimes movies are preparing us for things that are coming, like Superman. But mind you, this information came from me watching a piece of a comedy show on YouTube. So take it with a grain of salt. But a gentleman in the crowd of a comedy show made the statement when asked if the Bermuda Triangle was real. He made the statement, yes, the Bermuda Triangle is real, but because of a series of wins, not because of what everybody has been told. I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe him. It has somewhere in the world, all of that shit has to collide.
Sure. They've definitely had anomalous things happen over the Bermuda Triangle, but I think a lot of it was sort of technical difficulties and stuff. But let's see.
Like Amelia Earhart just maybe ran out of gas.
Maybe. Yeah, but I was just gonna go back to my original point real quick and say that space is fake. Aliens aren't real. And stop falling for the okey doke, everybody. If you want an example of why I think space is fake, take our nearest star. I think this one. I don't know which one it is. Sorry, nearest star to Earth. Like something Proxima, I think Proxima Centauri or something like that.
I feel like I've heard this before, but I don't know it. While you find that
Proxima Centauri.
Oh yeah. What's also interesting is when you find out how many stars are larger than the sun, but they say the star is the largest sun. I mean, the sun is the largest star in our solar system.
Well, because there's only one star in our solar system, so that makes sense. No, I think space is fake because, again, Proxima Centauri is roughly 4.24 light years away from us. And when we talk about things like light years, we sort of take that for granted. We're like, oh yeah, it only takes light 4 years to get to it. That's not too crazy. That's pretty doable. Well, to give you guys some perspective, 1 light year is 5.88 trillion miles.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about something around the number of 25 trillion miles away. Now,
was that like 20 minutes drive?
20 minutes drive. I don't know. I mean, it depends on how fast you're traveling, but if you're traveling at light speed, it takes at least 4 years to get there. To me, that is functionally not real. If you have to tell me that the closest thing to us is 25 trillion miles away, it might as well not exist.
Yeah.
It's much too far. I mean, it's just much too far for it to actually make any material difference whatsoever. So that's what I mean when I say space is fake.
I don't believe I don't believe that people or computers, maybe, from what they've been, universal loops at this point. But I fail to believe that just regular people are that damn smart.
Yeah, how would we even know? I mean, we can speculate and really do math, I guess.
Right, but what I mean by that is they say that some of the smartest people to ever live are like astronauts and stuff, or at least in America they say that. I don't know if everybody believes that, but to me, the smart people are the ones who make the rocket, not the ones who get in it.
Well, definitely. I mean, you would definitely want geniuses creating rockets if you're trying to put people into space. That's for sure. You would need genius engineers to be up in space to maintain the rockets, definitely. So yeah, you just need smart people all around. That's why they say I'm not a rocket scientist. Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of space and speaking of creatures from space, here's the segue. We're going to talk about the Superman trailer that just dropped yesterday. Did you guys get to watch it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm going to just make sure that it's on mute because I can't have it looping back in here. But we're going to play it and you guys can comment. You just tell me to pause when you want me to pause.
Yes, indeed. Well, before that, Mike, you did see it. You say, yeah?
I believe I saw it. I'm not sure which one you guys are mentioning because I've seen two different trailers. Are we
You
talking
shouldn't.
about
There's
full
only
length
one.
movie trailers?
There's only
Yeah.
one trailer.
I don't think I saw that thing because I saw some short clips. Then,
Well, look at your
like
screen.
first, I'm looking
They'll
at
say,
it.
watch
Okay.
your screen. There's really no words to this trailer, so
That's true. That's why. Yeah. Thank you for that. The
so-
only thing that you're missing is the John Williams score, which is awesome. So
it's pretty good. I'll say that
I don't
even.
even
I
know who
think
that is.
that was one of the more impressive things to me. I actually had to start it over. I probably got like 30 seconds in. I was like, is something wrong with my sound? And you only get one sound from the beginning to let you know that your sound is working.
yeah.
And that's the crash that you just saw blow up all that snow on the screen.
And the whistle.
Oh yeah,
Telling
and
the
the whistle.
dog to
Well, that
take him
hasn't
home.
happened yet. That hasn't happened yet.
No, not yet.
But I'm saying in the moment, like from the very beginning, and it takes about I think 20 to 30 seconds for the whistle to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Superman laying out and got his ass kicked somehow. The Clark Kent with the broccoli hair. That kind of bugs me a little bit, just because I think that
Really?
Is he
hairstyle.
bleeding?
He is bleeding. Yeah.
Oh, he's bleeding, sir. Yes, and Doomsday's not in this movie, to my knowledge.
no.
Then how is that possible?
There are other
Right.
Kryptonians who, in the story, in many comics, have made their way to Earth.
I know,
Oh,
but they
okay.
did that in Man of Steel. I don't know if
They
they even.
did.
Why would they do that again?
I think because didn't they have Doomsday and Zod in the Man of Steel?
No, they had Doomsday and Batman v Superman.
Oh,
Right.
you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And really quick, just to even make a comment on that, and mind you, I don't think I saw a Batman and Superman movie, but if they at no point discussed that Doomsday is another universe's version of a bad experiment on Superman, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, I don't think that he's going to be in this one, so we don't have to worry about it.
You're right. I'm
But
sorry.
yes,
I
needless to
went on a
say, he
tangent.
is bleeding. Yeah.
Yes, to Mike's question. You're right, Nick. I apologize for that.
We got Lois Lane, Lane.
Lois.
Have
What do we
they
think of this
ever-
Lois Lane rendition? Dark
What?
hair.
Have they
I
ever
don't know.
had Lois Lane
guess it
played
works.
by a knockout beauty?
Lois
No.
Lane wasn't a knockout beauty.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
She wasn't.
okay. Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
she was just kind of like the conventional, journalist woman.
she's
sort
I
of
must say
thing.
she's a news reporter for the paper.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, I don't know what point you're trying to
I'm gonna
make.
say you're gonna have to
We
show
got the
me the
Clark,
Lois
the
Lane you
Kent
talking about, player.
Farm.
Yeah, we get to the Kent Farm.
Jonathan. Yep, Jonathan.
I
Kent
do
is
wanna-
that name.
Right. So right here for me, I think is very, very pivotal because even though he still looks young, this is painting the picture of how old Clark actually is because of how old his father is. My assumption from that embrace and everything is that his father, that's when his father tells him he has cancer and he's dying.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's that, yeah, right. Because he would outlive his family
His
very
parents.
easily. Yeah.
Right.
So,
And because he doesn't age like the regular one of us, he still looks like he's like 19, 20, even though he's probably about 40.
right. So here
Or
he's whistling
40 in
on
Earth years.
Yeah, technically not immortal, but basically immortal.
functionally immortal while he's on while he's in our solar system.
Mhm.
Right.
He whistles and coming through the snow. is
Yeah, his
something.
dog, something is
Oh, is that
coming.
crypto?
Crypto.
That is Crypto.
Yeah. So
I was actually I
It's-
thought that was kind of cool. And he almost
Yeah.
looks exactly like the comic book version.
yeah, and I think that that's what's kind of interesting about this. Even though there is most of this is a very downer sort of trailer, like it's all very serious. I do like that you're seeing some of the whimsical comic book elements come out, like having a super dog. That wouldn't have happened in Batman v Superman.
Right. I think so with Crypto being there, because I don't think that he cloned Crypto. I don't think that Crypto is I don't think this is like some cyborg Crypto. So what I'm thinking happens here, or in this particular movie, with Crypto being there, clearly other Kryptonians are making their way to to Earth. Outside of course, Zod, which we already know. So maybe this is when his cousins come.
Maybe.
But I'm thinking,
Yeah.
but no, because that's when Supergirl is already there. So I'm not sure. Never mind. Let me take that back.
Right. We see him be a hero of sorts, shielding this little girl from an explosion. That's a pretty good shot.
Wow, that's a crazy shot actually. Because you see his
Yeah.
foot on the ground, and you see the cape and every the way it all kind of. Wow.
Yep.
Can you run that back just a little bit? That was a really good shot. You're right.
Nope, because I just fucked it up. Apparently, my cursor goes from start to front. Motherfucker. See, Keelan?
That's what happens. Blame me.
Hold on.
All
It's
Keelan's
alright.
fault with
I'll
his
do it.
damn
I'll do it. It's
shenanigans.
okay.
I don't know who Keelan is. Screw you guys.
I don't
I'm
know
going
who
home.
he is either, but it is his fault. Yeah. That's a good shot. That captures the sort of spirit of Superman more than I think most of the Zack Snyder stuff did. So
Fair.
I
Very
mean,
fair.
Superman was destroying Gotham City in the Snyder universe.
Superman
I wanna-
was straight ass.
I want to ask a stupid question.
Are you?
Sure.
Do you think Superman would save any black folks from the police?
Wow. And but how about, matter of fact, I'm glad you. No, actually, Mike, I'm gonna tell you why I'm glad you asked that question. I'm actually glad you asked that question because now I get to ask the question: why don't we ever get the mixed guy known as Lex Luthor? We always get the bald super Caucasian. I swear Lex Luthor is mixed or Iranian or something. I think Nick could play Lex Luthor.
I don't think so, but yeah. I mean, he's
Well,
a bald
actually-
white guy. Nicholas Holt is playing him this time. Beast from X-Men.
Right, but
There you
just
go.
like and he's a good actor actually. When seeing that he was gonna, I'm like, okay, wait, this is gonna be good.
Universe crossovers again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But like, just look at this guy playing Lex Luthor, right? And he's playing the super smart Lex Luthor, so he doesn't have to be 6'5" and 240 pounds of muscle. But if they were going with the other version of Lex Luthor, I think you could get what is his name? I can't think of it right now. Dang it, it doesn't matter. But other actors that they have used in the past for other things, because I mean they recycle everybody, why not? But I like this guy as an actor, so I'm really curious to see how he turns this.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it just depends. Sometimes Lex Luthor is kind of a hard sell. Wasn't Kevin Spacey Lex Luthor?
Yeah,
At one
he
point.
was.
At one point. So,
I mean, Lex
okay.
Luthor, if we're being honest, he's kind of like the not so intelligent version of Doctor Doom.
What?
Yeah, it just makes him hard. He needs to have a certain level of menace that we haven't seen on
I
screen.
agree with
yet.
that. But don't you?
He is
but see,
not
that's
the
thing.
not smart Doom. I'm
I'm
sorry
not
to
saying
say
he's
that.
not smart, but Doom is a super scientist. What are we talking about?
Yeah, so is Lex.
I mean, yes, he is. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying if we're crossing universes and we're comparing Lex Luthor and Doom, I think Doom has about 4 fingers on him.
I think Lex Luthor is the bizarro Tony Stark.
That's a great
I
translation.
think y'all need to put a little more respect on Lex's name, but I understand what y'all trying to say.
I think you
gotta
think
be
we're looking
shit.
down on Lex versus just actually comparing him. Also, keeping in mind that Marvel's always been more fantastical, and DC's always been a little more grounded.
I won't disagree with that.
With the guy who talks to dolphins. Okay. So we see a little kid putting up the Superman flag during a war. I guess he's gonna pray to Superman to save them.
Yeah,
Save me, Superman.
which is one of Lex's problems.
brown.
I think every version of Lex Luthor has an issue with people praying to Superman as if he's some type of a god. And then we see right after that turn, which is, I think this whole scene is effect of the Lex Luthor influence in this particular movie.
Yeah, the turning of the sentiment. Although I hope that this isn't like too much of the movie because we got this in the Snyderverse where everybody hated Superman. I don't really want to watch that again.
I mean, I'm not sure why. So what we've
let
seen,
Superman be a fucking hero. Good God,
Well, but-
why does he have to be such a I don't know.
why they have to always come
Morally
down on
and
them.
they always have to do this where it's like, oh, the people hate Superman. It's like, all right, well,
Right, but keep in mind, there's nothing else in this trailer though that makes you understand why they would go about being mad at Superman. And at least in the Snyderverse, we know, like you said, he was destroying Gotham City. He was putting a lot of people in danger. And that's why I think that this is just to like. I think this whole trailer is to let you know we're finally getting some essence of that Lex Luthor versus Superman. Is at some point Clark Kent battle that we've kind of longed for in the Superman story.
I mean, isn't that just J. Jonah Jameson? You know,
J. Jonah Jameson.
Kind of, because Lex Luthor was able to turn the people against Superman.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Multiple times.
Kind of like how we see in real life. I ain't gonna say no names, but you know what I mean.
So it's the
you use the media to
war. Yeah.
You use the media as a weapon, and you turn people against somebody who ain't really did nothing, or you exaggerate what he did do to make it seem like he's worse than what he is, just to win a political point.
Okay.
Which is shenanigans, but it is what it is.
Do you think Lex Luthor's going to get like an Alex Jones type to spread the propaganda? That's what they did.
Hey, the difference is Alex Jones was right about 90% of the time.
I mean, they turned J. Jonah Jameson into Alex Jones in the Spider-Man 3, so
they did. Damn it.
Yeah.
Hey, so I think J. Jonah is now getting superpowers, and he's gonna become one of the villains in Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery.
Wait, who's that?
Oh, okay.
JJ. I think I saw that somewhere.
I'm trying to remember if I ever saw that happen in the comics.
All right, we only got a couple more seconds of this, so let's just finish it.
Yeah, that's not good.
We see Green Lantern.
Is that who it is?
That's what I thought that was. Yeah, that's what I thought too, because at the Ring, he's at Stag Industries. But my question here, if this is Green, I can see the belt. That's definitely Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Who's the good guy and who's the bad guy in this scenario? Or maybe that's not a beam. Maybe it's like he's putting up a shield so they can't see what's going on inside.
I think that's kind of what he's doing. It doesn't look like he's like blasting them away, but it looks like he's trying to cover up the windows so people can't see. So it could be that Green Lantern is coming to Superman's sort of like a council in this dark time or whatever. I mean, it looks like he's at like an epitaph or something where it's like
I said he was at Stag Industries.
So I don't know what that means, but here we got Hawk Girl with her mace, which
so
looks
they
pretty
building
good.
Up another Justice League.
It looks like it.
Could be.
I think they're gonna do the James Gunn Justice League, which probably is gonna be way better than the Snyder League, honestly.
It doesn't look like they're taking the traditional approach with Hawk Girl when she started as the bad person until they found out she wasn't a bad person. Or
say what you want,
actually,
but James
found out she was.
Say what you want, but James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy a literally unknown product into one of the best Marvel trilogies. So
you had to really be a super comic book nerd to know about Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a really good point.
Right. And he did a great job with that. So I think that he could probably do a pretty good job with the DCEU. I'm like, they might as well let him try.
But
is it necessary? Is your question?
I like the Snyder cut of the Justice League. The original was trash. The Snyder cut was dope. I'm gonna stand on that 10 toes. I don't know if we need to redo the whole thing. To put it bluntly, I'm tired of seeing the recasting and the reshoots and the reuniversing of the universes. I'm really getting tired of all of it.
I got 2 words for you. Ezra Miller.
Whose fault was that?
They got to redo the Justice League, man.
Hey, whose fault was that?
The parents,
DC's,
the executives.
Yeah, the executives.
Okay. I'm like,
but I'm sure. I mean, like, yeah, but like, Snyder's probably hired him too. So, I mean, it was his fault as well.
It's not like he wasn't a big name for that whole moment when all of this was probably in the works and being sold. And
just bring Grant Gustin in. They have been dodging that this entire time.
I have said that so many times. Why not just use the guy from the damn TV show?
I mean, he's the perfect.
That guy does a great job.
Contractual obligations.
No, it's owned by
No.
it's owned by WB. Everything's owned by WB.
Oh,
You
okay, never
can
mind. Yeah.
you can get
Yeah.
that changed around easily.
Look, I'm about to say,
Right.
change that schedule around, player.
I mean, the Flash show isn't even on anymore, I don't think. So he could
Oh,
definitely
No.
do the Flash
And
show.
he did a great job. Everybody loves him as the Flash. He sings, he dances, he runs real fast. What's
Yep.
not to like?
Yeah, I think just bring in Grant Gustin and have it be over with, because all of this outside stuff, you already have at least one good comic book accurate sort of character in his Flash. So
Honestly, who was looking for the damn Mongoose Wizard? Who the hell was checking for him? I mean, keep it 100. That
He didn't even
motherfucker was a weirdo from jump.
he didn't even look like Barry Allen. I don't understand that. Like
He the way they made him run, all of it was stupid.
it was bad. There you see
Stupid.
yeah. 1 second ago you see Superman's robot butler. Or
Well, two things we skipped right before that. We saw a giant axolotl shoot fire out of its mouth, and then we
Yes,
saw
yeah.
some type of look like an alien projection orb in the background while he and Lois were making googly eyes.
yeah.
Oh, and with you bringing up the robot butler, yeah, because I thought this when I first saw the trailer.
mhm.
When he landed in the snow at the very beginning, I was like, "Oh snap! He's having a fight at the fortress."
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. He's either that or he flew back. He got his ass kicked and flew back to the fortress.
No.
He saw
In
it and crashed
in
out.
that situation, he definitely flies back. But what I mean is because he's going back to be healed, he has to call Crypto to get him home. Whatever got him so beat up that he had to run, he literally looks like he had to run. And there is a storyline, a couple of storylines, in fact, where he has to run and regather himself, kind of like go into his Batman mode and figure out like, how do I get through this? That who or whatever it is could follow him back to the fortress. And I think that's why we see the butler on the ground, because something or someone has found out where the fortress is, which I think will be this thing we're looking at right here on the screen.
Yeah.
Lex knows.
It's also possible Lex, that gun that he's loading up, has Kryptonian bullets or kryptonite bullets in it. And he might have been able to get one into Superman, which is why he's bleeding.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, obviously, kryptonite's going to be a part of it somehow.
For sure.
Yep. We
I don't
see
know
lots of
who or what
stuff.
this is.
Huh?
The thing
Yeah.
that the villain that was on the screen, I don't know who or what that was. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Power driver.
It looks like, I don't know who he's. I think he's fighting Mr. Terrific there, because Mr. Terrific is in this as well.
Why would he fight Mr. Terrific?
I don't know, but it does kind of look like him. You're going to see him in a sec. There he is.
Oh man, he almost looked black.
He almost. That's
Oh,
pretty
damn,
good.
it is.
I just say that because Mr. Terrific is one of the few black characters
Yeah.
that that dude looks a little something else. He brown skinned, but he looked like something else.
Right.
I don't
So we
even know
see
what to say
that,
except what
everything
Nick
in
said,
it
right?
basically flies into the sky, and that's it. So.
That's why I stopped, because
Yeah,
they're
gotcha.
not like
I
us.
understood.
Okay, gotcha.
Wait, so isn't Mr. Terrific a cyborg
No,
I don't know.
or an android?
He did look like he had some gadgets that were protecting him with like a
He's a-
shield or something.
no, he's a human black man.
Okay.
But he's one of the smartest humans in the world.
Okay.
Okay. So that was some type of level of machinery. Got you.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
he's definitely I think he's a technopath or something like that.
Oh,
Oh.
I think you're right.
He likes to
I
listen
don't.
to
I
a lot of
remember him, but I don't remember any of the encounters. What did you
I
say,
don't
Nick?
remember. I don't
apologize.
remember specifics.
Okay. All right, guys, we got to wrap this episode up, but before we do, we have to get to our review. We got to do the review.
Yes.
It's been too long.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
I synced it, and I didn't
saw
like
it.
stuff.
Yeah, I saw it. It was okay. That's my review.
Yes.
No, guys, we watched Don't Move on Netflix. I don't have any of the information pulled up for this, so I'm just gonna say.
I got
if
you.
wanna go, okay, why don't you just give us the director and the actors?
Let's see. So Don't Move the movie 2024 runs for an hour and a half. It is directed by Adam Schindler and Brian Netto. I'm not sure if that's Neto or Netto. It was released October 24th, 2024, so it's fairly new. It stars Kelsey Asbile, Finn Whitrock, Daniel Francis, and Morey Treadwell. Has a very small cast. Everything else, any other actors that are in this outside of the four I just named, are in flashbacks and things of that nature. So it's not really something that you're gonna, characters that you're really gonna think about too hard. The overview of it is when the killer injects her with a paralytic agent, a woman must run, fight, and hide before her body completely shuts down. Um, the Netflix version of that was not quite so descriptive, but yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Do we want to just
No,
we
we're
can
not
just
going to
run
go
through it
through
because
this
we're
whole
not going to
thing.
do all of that.
No. Let's just say
basically-
what we thought about it, and that's pretty
Well, I'll
much
give
it.
a quick overview of it, just how it
Sure.
goes down. You basically get a lady. She wakes up in the morning. She leaves her husband. She's suicidal. Excuse me, I'm not sure if we could even say that anymore, but she's willing to end it all. She no longer wants to be a part of societal.
She's feeling unalivey.
There we
How
go.
about that?
That's how you're supposed to say it. And then she meets a guy when she goes to this national forest, and this gentleman comes off as somebody who's very caring and he wants to help her. Come to find out, he's a psychopath and he tortures and maims people. We also find out his family or his wife at least knows that he goes on these retreats, but doesn't know what he's doing. And in the midst of all of that, he starts to rush and gets very sloppy because his family is coming up to a cabin where he has apparently for the last Lord knows how long taken time to unalive multiple women's or vulnerable people's.
Yeah.
what
Basically,
basi-
he injects them with a paralytic that makes them paralyzed for an hour and a half, and I guess the end result is that he throws them while they're paralyzed into a lake to kill them. But you know,
I'm
the
thinking he does a lot
implication is-
more than that typically, but in this situation, that's what he did.
Yeah, the implication is that he probably does some depraved acts on the paralyzed person as well.
I think
but
you can say essay stuff. That'll probably work.
yeah, it's fine. I can be flowery with my language.
I like
and
the brave act.
People get it. So
Okay,
basically,
okay.
this is like the classic serial killer damsel running away thing, except there's a twist that it's in the woods and this girl's paralyzed, and I think that works fine for a movie that's only an hour and 30 minutes. I don't think that it wowed me all that much, but I definitely thought it was an interesting premise. But nothing here is going to be breaking any sort of boundaries or making it stand out to you so much. I think that Flint Whitlock, or whatever his name is, whatever his name is, he's good. He was in American Horror Story, so I like him as an actor. I think that he does a pretty good job in this. I think the chick is a little flat, and maybe she's supposed to be, but I don't know. There's just a lot of these chicks now that are just like, they have this like stone face that like never expresses, and unless they're crying, but otherwise they're all just very stoic looking.
Yeah, they hire a lot. They hire women that people look at as model-esque, and they hire them for
Yes.
dramatic roles.
Yes, exactly.
Where you
When
need
they
to be
really only
expressive.
they really only have their blue steel face, and that's it.
Still,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You sure that's not
So I found it.
Magnum?
Yeah, I found her performance a little flat, but I was entertained enough with the movie, so I can't say that it was that bad. The cinematography was fine, the acting was fine, the story was a little bit.
Okay.
It was just okay. It was okay. So for me, I'm thinking this is like maybe like a 5.5 to a 6.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it. I didn't think that it was a bad movie. I just didn't necessarily think that it was going to be anything that I remember in the long term. So
that's a fair point.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar. I can't even lie.
Yeah, no, I'm actually at a flat 5 for this one. So honestly, there are some interesting points in the movie. Even the way it ends, I think, was a little bit interesting. I didn't expect either one of them to survive, but that's not how movies are written. That's not how most things go along. And just to, give you guys, since we usually do, how it goes at the end, she does break free after a couple. The guy kills a guy in the cabin, old guy. He kills a cop. All trying
I felt bad
to.
for the cop.
I did too. I feel bad for both of them, in fact, but all trying to continue with this thing that he apparently needs to do to solve his therapeutic issues. And still, yet and still, she is smart, she is quick, and she understands this drug that he's given her clearly a lot more than he does, because she still ends up winning in the end. But my question is, I feel like we saw this story before, just in a different medium and or told with different
What?
variables.
You mean they're starting to repeat scripts
No,
or
that's
stories?
very, very obvious. Yes,
I mean,
but
it's all the same story. It's about the damsel that meets the monster, and she has
oh
to
yeah, I guess
outsmart.
so.
It's like every slasher movie that's ever been created.
Yeah, you're right. Fair enough. I
Yeah,
have nothing more to. Yeah, I have no other questions on that. Then yeah, you're right. We
yeah.
have definitely heard this or seen this story before.
It's definitely not breaking any new ground, but it's all right. It's interesting enough. But what's funny is that her she's gonna get home and her husband's not even gonna know.
No, 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 that's not true. They did show a mini clip, I believe, of her husband looking for her, like using the police, trying to contact around. What
She
did
was
that
only
happen at the very
gone for
beginning?
3 hours.
Was it only 3 hours?
Yeah, because the paralytic only lasts an hour and a
It's
half,
an
and
hour
she
and a
gets
half.
stuck
It
with
takes 20
that.
minutes to kick in on top of that.
Right. So she's the whole escapade only lasts for like 2 hours, two,
You're
three
right.
hours. And then she goes home. He's still asleep.
You're right. He thinks she just went to work.
Yeah.
But and
And then
that's the part that we haven't said. So at the beginning of this movie, what was her name? Iris, the lady, she had no will to continue to move on, as I said earlier. But by the end of this film, because of what she endures because of Richard, she now has a new lease on life. And apparently that's what happened to him when he discovered that this is the thing that helps him escape reality and get back to his fun loving, carefree, nice
I feel
family
like
familial self.
I feel like one of the lines in the movie was like it took me almost getting murdered to realize that I wanted to live or something like that. I feel like
Not
that was
exactly,
like
but
one.
that
It
sentiment
was
Yeah.
so
was portrayed.
close.
Yeah,
It was very close to that sentiment,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's silly.
that we got the reminder of that on two separate occasions. But yeah, that's pretty obvious from the beginning. Like, oh, I see what's going to happen here. You didn't think you had a will or a reason to continue on, and somehow you found one within this in order to survive it, because
Your
you
own
wanted to.
selfishness.
And that's exactly what I was about to say, because you didn't want to continue on, but somehow you were selfish enough to say that you had to be the one to end it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's almost insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's silly. It's
Oh,
the premise is
what do
kind
you
of
what do
dumb.
you
Don't
think
make me talk about it
unaliving
more
yourself
or else
really
it's gonna
is?
get less. I'm
Yeah.
gonna lower the
Depression.
What do
score if I have to keep talking about it. So I was
I
feeling
mean,
generous with my
I've already come to
5.5.
Yeah, I'm
you
at a flat
were
five on that,
because
going up.
I was gonna go with a 5, and I was thinking maybe a 5.5. Definitely not a 6 for me, because I was
Yeah.
like, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, they just used a new tool to facilitate an old plot, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's actually happening with movies, and this kind of fits into that category? We used to get movies that were um they were decent enough for watchability, like we could run them in background. They could be background flicks. I don't even see this as a background movie. It's something that somebody says, "Hey, watch this." You watch it and you go, "Oh, okay."
Cool.
Oh, okay, and then you move on. If this is playing on, let's say, Pluto TV, I have so many other options on Pluto that I'm not going to this one.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No.
I would have never picked this movie to watch on my own.
Fair
It's
enough.
all
And
Keelan's
that's
fault.
that's not a shot at Keelan. That's not a shot at you.
It can be. I mean, but I'm actually was glad when I picked this one. I wanted to see it. It was something that I had seen the trailer of, and I was like, huh, that looks like it could go places. But I think I was at the time we were also coming hot off of what was that Anna Kendrick's movie?
I know what you're talking about.
Man, who knows?
I remember the
Game
concept and
show,
everything, but
girl
yeah,
show,
Oh
the one
yeah,
about the girl,
woman of the hour
about the
or
guy
whatever.
that survived. I mean,
woman of
that
the
survived.
hour.
Woman of the
Yeah,
hour.
woman.
Yes.
Mhm.
We were coming off the heels of Woman of the Hour, and this was kind of like that beginning scene of Woman of the Hour that we didn't quite get.
Yeah,
The story
for
of.
sure. Definitely. All right, so we're basically at a 5. I think probably a 5.15 or something like that.
Yeah, 5.2.
And that's still being pretty generous.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys are wild. I can
Well,
actually
yeah,
go. I got
I'm
a
the
couple
only
of
one that
reasons I
gave
could
it a
go down.
5.5. But I'm just feeling in the holiday spirit, so that's my
you know,
Christmas gift to
good
the,
on you,
that
my
movie.
friend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she was cute enough to get a gift from you.
See, the things single men say that get us in trouble.
Maybe only if she had it didn't have a blank expression on her face at all times.
That's
like
a married
robot.
woman, Mike. You can't say those things.
Yeah, exactly. Disrespect. All right, I think we're done here. Anything else, gents?
No, I mean,
I
shoot.
have
As far
nothing.
as everything we discussed, I still don't. I am more interested in playing Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm less interested, but still gonna take a gander at the Mr. Beast stuff.
I probably won't.
I might do a little bit of a rabbit hole deep dive to get a little more information about these drones. But again, it gets down to, is it propaganda? Is it real? Is it fake? Is it AI? Are we all just stuck in the hysteric matrix and looking for
Yeah.
something to be outraged about?
Well, did you see? Sorry to cut you off, but this is kind of relevant. I saw a post. I don't know how real it is. I didn't get a chance to look at it because I saw it earlier today. Where in 2000, whatever it was, Obama made it legal to use government propaganda as a legal tool to deceive the people.
Yeah, it
That's
was it was the repealing of the Smith Month Modernization Act. Sorry, that's a really weird mouthful to say. The
I
Smith
saw it on the Joe
Month-
Rogan clip.
Yeah, Modernization Act, which basically says that you're allowed, the government is allowed to use propaganda on U.S. soil. Now, the justification for it back in the day was that, well, we want to use it so that way we can broadcast pro-capitalist messages into Cuba. But, obviously, the loophole is that you could also broadcast any type of message into the U.S. as well. So.
Dang, isn't that how?
And that's-
Oh, never mind. I'm getting started.
Yeah, it's always
In
how it
that
goes.
same clip, though, he also said that they just passed, while everybody was being distracted, I think it was by the drone stuff earlier this month or something like that, they were able to pass a law that says that the U.S. government can use the army to kill American citizens on American soil.
Yeah,
What
that
is
passed
that?
a few months ago. That passed a few
Oh,
months
okay.
ago. Don't
Yeah,
worry
it's a
about it.
while.
That's old news. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah. Don't, it's all good. It's all good. Old hat. We don't care about that. All right.
To wrap
everybody.
up,
Yeah.
well, I just want to wrap what I was saying to wrap it up. Because maybe you guys feel like making these statements or something similar to them. But the last two things was, well, I don't have anything else to say about Don't Move. So the last thing for me was about the Superman trailer.
Uh-huh.
I am interested in the Superman trailer. I want to make that clear. But I think they're gonna need to give us a better trailer to give us more of an understanding of what they're presenting in this particular Superman rendition.
Yeah, I just
Other
need to know
than
the
that-
overarching plot.
Say it again.
Yeah. This is
I
just
said
a
I just
teaser
need to know the
trailer.
overarching plot.
Right. But at the same time, I don't want them to do like they did with the Justice League trailers, where we pretty much get the whole damn movie because they give us so many different trailers.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to a brighter Superman, a more comic book, lighter Superman. So I hope that it's not a major downer like all of the last DC movie have been. So, we'll see. James Gunn does a pretty good job. He did a Suicide Squad, right? The good one.
Yeah, he also did Suicide Squad.
There
Yeah.
was a
Yeah,
good
he-
one?
Yes.
Yeah, he made the second Suicide Squad, which was actually good.
The first one was The second one was
Yeah.
wow. Why didn't they let him do the first one?
Yeah.
I saw the
Yeah.
first one was like, ugh. And then I saw the second was like,
Second one was much better than the first one. So
Agreed. But
yeah.
I just didn't think it was all that great.
No, but I mean, again, it just needs to be serviceable enough to start building the world. DC has been starting for the past like 15 years. They haven't been able to get their franchise off
Get
the
it
ground.
going. Yeah, they even hired Jason
and what
Momoa in
makes
that film.
Yeah.
right, and what makes it so bad is DC has such a deeper, richer, overarching story that they could have blown Marvel out of the water if they really
yeah.
would have just executed it correctly. Because
Yeah.
DC's whole universe is basically about trafficking children in different universes and galaxies and aliens and planets and stuff. And
Well, could you
they have this
imagine?
great.
You're right.
Could you imagine it like a 15-year build up to the Injustice plot line?
That would have been fantastic.
That would have been so damn good, man. Are you kidding
So
me?
good.
Like, that would have been so sick. I mean,
They
like,
could have had
man.
Lobo introduced by now.
Yeah, yeah,
Who doesn't want to see Lobo?
I know.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That is
Well,
a really good point. Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully they'll get their act together with this one. But all right,
We'll see.
let's wrap this all up, gents. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We hope that you have a wonderful evening and happy holidays to all you out there. You know, the winter is about to get its darkest and then it starts to get brighter every day. So we hope that you have a wonderful new year and holiday. And we'll be back very soon with another episode. So please hit that notification bell and hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up. It would really help us out. We want to be able to build a bigger audience. And of course, we can't do it without your help. So thank you so much all to you all out there for tuning in. We will be back shortly. But until then, for Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
I am Keelan,
And I'm Mike.
and we appreciate you.
And it is
And
foggy
I-
out here. Woo. It looked like a London
This gentleman.
murder.